All right, guys, so now we're going to focus on simplifying complex fractions. All right, so what is a complex fraction? This is a fraction in which the numerator and the denominator both contain fractions. All right? So to simplify a complex fraction means to rewrite it as a single fraction with no fractions in the numerator or denominator. So these are the steps. First step, create a single fraction in the numerator and denominator. Second step is to set up as a division problem, then multiply times or by the reciprocal. And your third step is just to simplify, and you got to factor first before you could simplify, if you could factor. So let's go through our odd numbers. So this is what it states. Look, we have a fraction in the numerator and a fraction in the denominator. So when I want to simplify this, I'm going to go a over 2, and now I'm going to multiply times the reciprocal. 4 over a squared, like a over 2 times, and now the reciprocal, I flipped it, now I'm multiplying it. So this one's simple. I'm just going to multiply across. I got a times 4, which is 4a. 2 times, is that an a squared? 2 times a squared is going to give me 2a squared. Well, look, I could still simplify this. 4 divided by 2 is going to give me 2. And I got a over a squared. Remember, there's a 1 right here. So now this goes over just a, because 2 minus 1, and that's just going to give me a to the first power in the denominator. All right, and that's my final answer. Let's look at this one. I got 18p over 8p minus 2 times, and now I'm multiplying times the reciprocal. 4p minus 1 over 4p squared. All right, so I notice I can factor though. So I'm gonna factor this out right here. So what can I take out of that? I'm gonna take a 2 out. So if I take out the 2, I'm left with 4p minus 1. Right. So now I'm gonna erase this, and I'm gonna make it 2. I'm gonna do 2 outside of 4p minus 1. All right, so now can I simplify, right? Can I factored, does anything cancel out, right? So now this just ultimately becomes, think of it as like one big fraction, like so, right? So now we'll put that in parentheses, like this in parentheses, this in parentheses, right? So I have 4p, the 4p minus 1s, those cancel out, right? Now I have 18p divided by 2. So 18 divided by 2, that's going to give me a 9p over, and what I have left over, 4p squared. Well, I could still simplify the p, right? I got p over p squared, so now I have 9 over 4p, and that's my final answer. All right, so same idea with this one. I have 7c plus 35 over c. Now I'm going to multiply times the reciprocal, right? So it's going to go c squared over c plus 5. All right, so can I factor any of those out? I could factor this. So that's what I'm going to work out first. What could I take out? I'm going to take out a 7. So if I take out the 7, I'm left with c plus 5. So I'm going to erase this, and I'm going to change it to 7 times c plus 5. All right, now can I simplify? Can, right? I could take care of that. Now I'm left with 7 times c squared. I have 7c squared, and I just have this c left over. I could still simplify the c's, right? So I have c squared over c. This is just going to give me, I have that 7 left over, and this is just going to give me 7c, right? 2 minus the 1 that's hanging out right here. And that's my answer. All right, so same idea. I have 15 minus 15r over 15r squared. Now when I multiply times the reciprocal, think of that as being like the whole number. So now this actually becomes times, since it's just the 12r minus 12, there's nothing on it. Under it, it goes 1 over 12r minus 12. All right, so can we factor anything? We can, right? I could factor this, and I could factor this. So that's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna focus on that 15 minus 15r. So I could take out a 15. So if I take out 15, I'm left with 1 minus r. So let's change that. I take out the 15, and I'm left with, why is that a, yeah, that's not supposed to be a negative. It's just 1 minus r, not negative 1. All right, let's do the 12r. So if I have 12r minus 12, I could factor out a 12. So if I take out 12, now I'm left with r minus 1. All right, so I'm going to change this. 12 times r minus 1. All right, so we can't simplify anymore, but what I do notice is I have 1 minus r in the numerator and r minus 1 in the denominator. Remember what happens when you have this. This goes, so 1 over r, or 1 minus r over r minus 1. This ends up just equaling to negative 1. So now these cancel out, but they make this whole situation a negative 1 times a negative 1. So now if I'm going to multiply across, I got 15, or negative 15 times 1, which gives me negative 15. Right? And then I have this over, I have 15r squared. Let's see, 15. Okay, so look at this. So I had that 15 over the 15r squared. So these actually cancel out. So the 15s cancel, right? And now I have 1 negative 1 over, what do I have left? R squared times 12, which is just 12r squared. And that's my answer. All right, go to the next one. Same idea. Well, this is a little different because, okay, so notice that my denominators, come on. All right, my denominators right here, they're different, right? When you're adding or subtracting fractions, they have to have a common denominator. So we have to make them have a common denominator first. So that's what I'm going to do. So for both of them, so what I have to do is I have to multiply this side by x. I have to multiply this side by 3. So now when I do that, you're multiplying everything, right? So now this becomes, it's like x times x over 3. So I'm going to have x squared over 3x minus, and then 3 times 3 is a 9 over 3x. All right, so when this happens, you have 3x in both denominators. This just becomes one big fraction, right? So now this just becomes x squared minus 9 all over 3x. Right. And now I'm going to multiply times reciprocal times x over x minus 3. Now, can I factor anything? I can right here. It's a perfect square binomial, and I'm going to factor that out. So that's going to give me x and x, right, and minus 3 plus 3. So I'm going to simplify that part. X minus 3, x plus 3. Right. So now, can I simplify anything? I can, right? So I'm going to go with the x minus 3s. And then I'm left with, looks like x. I got x times x plus 3 over 3x. Right? But remember, I got this and this. Right? So that's going to cancel out that x in the numerator. So now I'm left with x plus 3 over, right, those canceled, over 3. Let's go to 10. All right, 5 over 4 in the numerator. Can't do much with that. So I got 5, do 5 over 4 times. Now again, for us to combine these, we have to have a common denominator. Look, I got n minus 4 here, but I got 4n minus 16 here. So I'm gonna have to multiply something to make them both have the same denominator. So I'm gonna actually multiply this side by 4. So when I do that, here, move it over here. When I do that, now I have 80 over 4n minus 16 minus 5 over 4n minus 16. Now they have the same denominator, right? So now when I go to multiply times the reciprocal, right, I'm going this times the reciprocal of that. I'm going 4n minus 16, right? Because when they have the same denominator, this just becomes one problem. So 80 minus 5, and then I got 4n minus 16 over, so I got 4n minus 16, and then I got over, looks like 80 minus 5 is going to give me a 75. All right, well, can I factor anything? I can, right? So I have, we got this 4n minus 16. I could take out the 4, and now I'm left with n minus 4. All right, so let's turn this into the 4 times n minus 4. All right, and now we could simplify. Let's see what I got. So the 4's cancel. 4's cancel. And now I have the 5 over the 75. So how many times is 5 going to 75? 75 divided by 5. So now I have n minus 4 over 15. All right, because 5 over 75 is just equal to 1 over 15. Simplifies to 1 over 15. So this would be my final answer. All right, let's do 13. Same idea, right? So look, so both of these, the numerator and the denominator, they both have different denominators. So we're gonna have to multiply each of those so they have a common denominator, so we can combine the addition or the subtraction. So I'm gonna have to multiply this side by b squared. Now I'm gonna have to multiply this side by a squared. So now that becomes, oh, this is gonna be tricky. All right, this becomes b squared over a squared b squared minus, now I have a squared over a squared b squared. All right, so now this becomes, we're gonna go b squared minus a squared over a squared b squared. Now I gotta do the same thing with the denominator. I'm gonna multiply this left side by a, and I'm gonna multiply the right side by b. So when I do that, I'm gonna work it out over here. So when I do that, now I have an a over ab plus, now I'm gonna have a b over ab. All right, so now we're gonna flip it. So I'm gonna multiply times. They have the same reciprocal or the same denominator. So this is really just like saying, let's do this. This is just like saying a plus b over ab. So now I'm gonna flip it. I'm gonna have ab in the numerator over a plus b. All right, so now we still gotta simplify, we still factor. So b squared minus a squared, I'm looking right here, I could factor this. So now that's gonna be b minus A times B plus A. So let's take care of that. I'm going to switch this over. B minus A times B plus A. And I could also factor this out. So that ends up becoming AB times AB. So let's switch that. AB times AB. All right, so I can't factor anything else out. So now we're going to simplify. Let's erase this. So these two are technically the same. B plus A and A plus B, they're the same, right? Just switch. Whenever you're adding, it doesn't matter which comes first. So those are the same, so those are going to cancel out. And I'm also going to cancel out an AB. I have AB and AB. And now what I have left over is just B minus A over AB. And that is my final answer. All right, last problem. Looks like we're doing the same thing. All right, common denominators. So there's a 4 here and a 4v here. So only thing I have to do is just multiply this side by v. All right, so now I'm going to have v over 4v minus 1 over 4v. So now this technically just becomes v minus 1 over 4v. V minus 1 over 4v. And now same idea with the denominator. I'm going to multiply this side by 4 and multiply this side by v because I want them to have common denominators. So now this becomes 4 over 4v plus v over 4v. So when I flip it, now it's going to become 4v over 4 plus v. All right. Well, this is simple. The 4v's cancel out. I'm left with v minus 1 over 4 plus v. And that is my final answer. All right, that's it.